How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. Donahue here again. This time we're going to take a look at some functional groups practice problems. So number one, which of the following isn't an alcohol? And they just give you names. So alcohols, their suffix, they end with OL. So you're really just looking at the names. Let's see, acetone. Oh, hey, that didn't end with an OL. It ends with ONE, just like the naming for ketones, right? Cholesterol, that is an alcohol. Ethanol is an alcohol. Ethylene glycol is an alcohol. Glycerol is an alcohol. So which one of these is not an alcohol? Choice A. Number two, what kind of organic compound will be made in the following reaction? So remember, this R is just like a carbon chain. They're saying it's not really important what it is. It's just carbons or whatever. And then OH. And then here we have a COOH. So hopefully we are learning that when you see the COO, the COOH, that means there's a double bond O and an OH off of that carbon. And then, more carbons. It doesn't really matter. So what happens here? Well, an OH from one of the molecules and a hydrogen off of the other OH gets removed. We call this like dehydration synthesis or a condensation reaction because water is being removed. And those carbon chains now end up linked together with that O in between. So we end up with a molecule where there's a CO to a C that has a double bond O on it. And what is this functional group? It's an ester. So there you go. The answer, what kind of organic compound will be made from this reaction? Well, we have an alcohol plus an acid will give you an ester and water. All right. Number three, which of the following compounds does not contain a carbonyl group? So that is a C with a double bond O on it. So let's see, aldehydes. Aldehydes have a C double bond O on the last carbon in the molecule. Amides, they have, what's it? It's like carbon, nitrogen, carbon double bond O thing going on. Well, not necessarily, but yeah, they also have a carbonyl group. Esters, we just looked at before. There's a double bond O, O, C, so we have a carbonyl group there as well. Ethers, well, let's see, ethers, there's a carbon, oxygen, carbon bond. There's no double bond O. So it's looking like choice D will be our option. And ketones are just like aldehydes, except that double bond O is in the middle. It's not on an end carbon. So choice D. Or which of the following which does not contain an sp3 hybridized oxygen? So an sp3 hybridized oxygen generally looks like an oxygen that's made two bonds with something, doesn't have to be hydrogen, and then has two unshared pairs of electrons surrounding it. So which one does not contain it? Well, let's see. Aldehydes have a double bond O, on a middle carbon. So if we take a look at the electronic structure of that oxygen, it has two unshared pairs, but it makes a double bond here, so it's really sp2 hybridized. So option A is looking pretty good, but let's check them out. Well, I just drew water. Water has, 4 domains, so it has to be sp3. Esters, well, let's see, esters, you got that double bond O, which is sp2, but it also has that oxygen bonding to another carbon as well. So this one right here is sp3 hybridized. So it has that. Ethers look like esters, but without that double bond O, so they also have an sp3 hybridized oxygen. And then ketones Ketones got that double bond O, which is sp2. So which one of these? It's going to be both choices A and E. Yeah. 5. Which structure below shows an aldehyde? All right, well, let's take a look. This right here, not an aldehyde. This might throw you off because it's got that double bond O, but big picture, looking at all that, what we have here is an amide. All right. An aldehyde needs to have a double bond O on a terminal carbon. So this carbon is a double bond O and a hydrogen. Choice B, looking like it. Well, let's check the rest of them. What do we got going on here? You got double bond OOH. That is going to be an organic acid. We got this double bond O in the middle. This is a ketone. We have this NH2 group, which is an amine. And then we also have this right here, which is what, a benzyl group, right? It's a benzene. So which one of these shows an aldehyde? Definitely choice B. 6, ethers can be made via condensation synthesis of what two molecules? So let's draw out an ether, COC. This is the simplest one. If I cover up half of this and ignore all this, what do you see? Well, it almost looks like an alcohol, right? We could have started with methanol. Now, if I do that, but the same thing and ignore the left side, what's it look like? It also looks like an alcohol, right? Because I have a boom, boom going on over here. So what two molecules? It's an alcohol and an alcohol, always. So an alcohol reacting with an alcohol via condensation synthesis gives you an ether. Right, 7. What is the name of the following compound? And again, it doesn't show you the actual bond, so best bet is to draw it out. I have a CH3 bonded to a CH2, bonded to a CHOH, bonded to a CHOH, bonded to a CH2, bonded to a CH3. So first we can see we got 2 alcohol groups on an otherwise simple chain. So let's name that simple chain. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons. So that is a hexane because they're all single bonded together. But I have 2 alcohol groups, so I'm not going to be hexane. And there's 2. So you might say hexanol, but how do I say I have 2 alcohol groups? It's hexane diol. And then what carbons are they on? Well, it's either going to be the 1, 2, 3rd carbon, 3rd and 4th, or 1, 2, hey, it doesn't matter. It's always going to be regardless, left to right or right to left. I have 3, 4 hexanediol. Number 8, what kind of compound would be produced by the following reaction? Well, let's draw it out. R is just some sort of carbon group, whatever it is, OH, and then, hey, I got another carbon group, OH. What's going to happen here? Well, an OH from one of them and a hydrogen from the other are going to come together to make water, and those 2 carbon chains are now going to be linked together by the remaining oxygen. So what kind of compound is that? It is an ether. Let me draw my E better. So yeah, that's it. Hope you found it helpful. I'll see you in class. Okay, bye.